If you've been going to Disney World for a long time, you probably don't miss just the rides or shows. You miss the simplicity, when every guest felt equal, when you didn't need an app or a strategy or a return time, when Disney World felt like it was designed to be experienced, not managed. If you've ever said, I miss the old Disney, this video is for you. I'm Lee with All About the Duck, and I made my first trip in 1981, and I fell in love with all things Disney. Lately, I've been feeling really nostalgic about Disney World, not because change is bad, but because some of the small things that made Disney feel effortless have quietly disappeared. So today I want to talk about the simple things I miss about Disney World, the background details, the experiences that didn't feel rushed, optimized, or scheduled. Just Disney. Let's talk about Rope Drop. Back when it felt calm for about 5 minutes before the rush, you'd walk into the park early. The air was cool, the ground was still damp from overnight cleaning. The sun hadn't quite burned through the morning haze yet, and cast members would already be out there, not greeting, not directing crowds, wiping down benches because Disney knew someone half awake, holding a coffee, maybe wrangling kids, was about to sit down. And Disney didn't want that moment ruined by a soaked bench. Nobody announced it, nobody thanked them, but that's the kind of thing that made Disney feel different. I miss when the parks felt alive, even when you weren't doing anything. Main Street USA didn't feel like a hallway to get through, it felt like a place to exist. Music drifting from somewhere you couldn't quite pinpoint. Cast members interacting just long enough to make you feel seen. Little moments happening off to the side that weren't listed in the app. You didn't feel rushed from attraction to attraction. You felt like the park was happening around you. And then there are the restaurants, not the ones everyone argues about, the ones that were just part of your routine. The Main Street Bakery, before it felt like a stop you see everywhere else. Electric Umbrella, not because it was special, but because it was reliable. Places where you could sit, cool off, and just exist for a minute. Some of those spots weren't flashy, but they gave you your day breathing room. And that's something I think Disney used to do really well. And speaking of simplicity, FastPass. I miss when FastPass was a paper ticket, or even before that, when there was no FastPass at all. Everyone stood in the same line, everyone waited their turn. There was no advantage to knowing tickets or stacking times. You didn't need a phone, you didn't need a plan. You just experienced the park. There was something comforting about knowing every guest was on the same playing field. Main Street USA used to feel like the heart of the park. And when the Main Street Electrical Parade came through, everything stopped. That music, those glowing floats, kids sitting on the curb, adults standing behind them, nobody rushing off to the next thing. It was flashy, it wasn't complicated, it was magic that didn't ask for anything except your attention. I miss when Hollywood studios actually felt like a studio, when it celebrated movies, television, and entertainment itself, not just characters and franchises. The backlot tour, the feeling that you were seeing behind the scenes, the idea that this park was about how movies were made and not just who was in them. It felt different, purposeful, not a playground, an experience. I miss when shows felt like shared experiences. Illuminations wasn't just a nighttime show, it was the moment the park slowed down together. People didn't immediately turn and leave. They stood there, they watched, they let it sink in. Wishes felt emotional in a way that caught you off guard. These weren't just things you watched, they were things you remembered. Epcot, might be where I feel this the most. I missed World Showcase before every pavilion needed a Disney property attached to it, when it felt like discovery, culture, atmosphere. And I missed the Fountain of Nations, that wide open entrance, the music, the water moving in rhythm as you walked towards the countries. It set a tone. Epcot didn't rush you, it welcomed you. And then there was the Osborne Family Lights, Hollywood Studios, back when it was still MGM, transformed completely. The music, the way you couldn't help but stop and just take it in. It was an overlay, it was an experience. And once you saw it, it became part of your Christmas. And honestly, I miss cast members having time to talk, time to joke, time to notice the button you were wearing or ask, where were you visiting from? Those interactions didn't come from scripts or technology, they came from space. And when you felt that, you felt taken care of. This isn't about saying Disney isn't magical anymore. It is, but I miss the simplicity of the old Disney. When magic wasn't optimized, when moments weren't scheduled, when the little things quietly carried the day, a dry bench, a paper fast pass, a parade that made everyone stop. Those weren't the headline attractions, but they're the memories that stayed. So now I want to hear from you. What's something simple you miss about Disney World? Not rides, not fireworks, the little things. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to read them. And if you enjoy Disney nostalgia, Disney history, and remembering what made the parks feel different, make sure to like and subscribe and stick around. Because sometimes the magic isn't what changed, it's what we remember. And as always, see you real soon.